Well, welcome everybody. And I'd like to call to order the January 14th, 2026 monthly EAC meeting. And I know that John had sent out the agenda, obviously, in the minutes from December. I assume everybody got them. No, John, you did get them. Any edits, objections, anything from the committee? Okay, can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I move to approve minutes.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any public comments? Seeing there are none, we'll move on. So with that, let's do some introductions. And we have some time this evening for introductions, for explanation of current projects, of questions for current projects, and then maybe, talk about what we're trying to achieve in 2026. But it's not a heavy agenda, so it should be really heavy on introducing you to the committee and introducing you to the members. So I am Jeff Petro. And that's Jenna. Hi, Jenna. Current chair, and I came on in 2023.
Jeff,
to
you now have a member of the audience.
See you for a minute.
Maybe public comments. Great. I came on in 2023, retired in 2022, came on in 2023 with the sort of the task of getting us recertified for gold standard sustainability. And we'll talk a little bit about sustainability in a few minutes, but that's what I was brought on to do. Having no subject matter expertise in it, but having a business background, I said, well, let me take a look into this. So I came on in 2023. I became the vice chair in 2024, and then the chair later on in 2024. So I am about 1 year and 2 months as chair. And I'll go to Ken next.
I'm Ken Allshouse. I'm one of the original people on EAC. I've successfully avoided being chair. My background is originally to have a degree in forest science and been on the American Chestnut Foundation board for a number of years and so forth. So the environment and everything is something that it's part of my life, so to speak. Project wise, I'm in charge of, quote unquote, in charge of deer management. Also, I've been trying to build trails in Wall Park. We have one rudimentary trail there. There's a lot of hurdles when you go to do things when there's floodplain and so forth. So that's pretty much what my involvement is. And if you want to go for a walk and see the parks, let me know. I'll be more than happy to guide you through. Thank you.
Well, I'm Dale Moss. I'm retired for 2 years. I was a chemistry teacher for 33 years. I'm a passionate cyclist. If you on my off on like every other day, I'm out. I go long distances. I like to go north towards Zealy, and I do a lot of road cycling, and that's really my passion. And it does fit in with the environmental because I want to see more people use the outdoors on a recreational way. I like gravel riding, and Sewickley is excellent for gravel riding. There's a few gravel roads out there, and there's some trails. And I'd like to make our community more bike friendly. It's not very walkable, and that's an issue I'd like to see amendable. Unless you have a car, you're really that's it. It's really dangerous. I feel for those people walking on the sides of the roads because it's a big danger. I see a lot of roadkill, so I know it's a big danger. But that would be my passion. I'd like to see us make McCandless and more. Well, like there's a trolley line that goes through here, but it's not like we have rails and trails in the city. But wouldn't that be nice to open up that trolley line for cycling or hiking or biking? I know there's some sections that are open, but it's not entirely there. But that's what I like to see. I like to see us use our outdoors in a way, and also to protect our green spaces. I think is very valuable.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, most of you probably know who I am already, given the news, but my name is Jack Hickerson. I'm councilman for McCandless Ward 4. If you don't know where Ward 4 is, it's located in the southwest corner of McCandless. Actually, Dale lives there. CCAC North's in there. Chinese church is in there. Three Rivers Baptist, that area. So one of the reasons why I requested EAC, well, there's two reasons. One, when I was door knocking, a lot of people asked to do something about deer. And I figured, I think my best position to help in that, situation people have is, be on the EAC. And the second part is I do genuinely care about nature. I come from a family who cares about nature. I'm an avid hiker. I love hiking. I've been doing it ever since my dad refused to carry me when I was little. But overall, I do enjoy it. And, I'm with there. I would like to see more trails here. And I do like the Brant Trail. I do hike it when I can. But I also enjoy North Park. I try to go there regularly in the summer season for exercise and, just disconnect from the world. But overall, I'm very excited to be here and thank you for the welcome.
All right. I'm John Bajarski. I'm not actually on the EAC. I'm just the staff member who helps the EAC, but I'm the public information officer for the town. Been here for about 10 years. I've actually worked with the EAC since it got started when Ken was here too. And it's a really great committee. If you haven't followed it for long, it's a lot of action, a lot of fun. Everyone gets along. Everyone has lots of good ideas. So for all the new people, you're really going to enjoy it. Of course, the members who've been here for a while know this already. I am leaving in about a week and a half, so I'm going to miss it, but it's been a really great ride.
We'll miss you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jenna. I'm one of the junior members on the EAC. I came here first, I believe in November was my first meeting. And it's actually funny that you mentioned that because I do competitive mountain biking. I spent a lot of time in North Park for both practice and just for fun. My focus thus far has kind of narrowed into park connectivity because I think that it's important for young people to be able to have access to green spaces. So right now I'm working on sidewalk connectivity from neighborhoods to the park so that people can walk there and bike there without having to use cars. So pretty much everything you said, you took the words right out of my mouth. So welcome. But yeah, I'm really excited for everybody to be here. I really think that you guys will have a great time. Yeah.
Nadia, I am the other junior council person. I'm from North Allegheny. I live literally 2 minutes up the road from here, so did a lot of North Parking, especially during COVID, a lot of hiking. Got an inflatable paddleboard, did a lot of paddleboarding, especially during COVID, because that was one of the kind of things that you could do social distancing, which was nice. I'm looking forward to doing some research on water quality in the local area and some education too within the schools. And that's all just getting started, so I'm excited for that.
And I'm Audrey. I moved here about 2.5 years ago. So I'm Indiana. And before that, I was in Houston for 18 years, I think. So my background is in genetics and I work in research compliance. But mainly my interest in the outdoors is when I lived in Houston there's almost no green space and you're walking along the side of a road if you're in a park. And so when we moved to Bloomington, it was really nice to be able we had a Rails to Trails program. We could bike to the outdoors farmers market and just tons of nature. The National Forest was right there. It was beautiful, hiking all over the place. And moving here, it was super frustrating to be 5 feet from North Park and I can't get there without my car because I live just up the road, up the Grumps. So, but I was really big into native plantings at my house in Bloomington and trying to rewild my front yard, which the next person bought the house ripped out. But being pollinators and birds and natural foods for them with native plants is kind of where I'm interested.
All right. Hi, I'm Joanna Cameron. I've been on the EAC since fall of 2024. my work background is that I'm a pediatric speech therapist. But what that means for here is that I love doing things that have to do with communication and working with kids because that is a big component of what we do. But I have a lot of other passions as well that are very outdoorsy. I don't like to be inside a house. So I'm an avid gardener. I'm very much into native plants, very much into pollinators. And I've been part of a lot of citizen science projects and really getting into what the native plants are in the area. I also have a strong background with scouting, both Girl Scouts growing up, and then later on, I was in a community service fraternity that was associated more with Boy Scouts. So I was working with both of those. So I like establishing things with the different scout groups in the area. And then when I stepped onto the committee, there was a lot of places where I could fill in where it was building volunteers, community service, and then building off of my native plant knowledge and that kind of thing.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Winston. I've been on the EIC since summer of 2024. I think July is when we were officially appointed. Joanna and I started at the same time, but my background professionally is in sustainability. I've done a lot of work with strategy development, rolling out initiatives, data measurement, and reporting. And so that's part of what initially drew me to this particular group. Since joining, I've sort of just been involved in a lot of little things. I haven't adopted a set project for myself, but I'm helping everybody with different things here and there. It's a really, really great group of people. Like all of you, I also love the outdoors and nature, and we all have that in common. So it's a great place to be. And then we have Bernie, who we cannot forget about.
You're on, Bernie.
Melissa, you cut yourself short. You know, Melissa was a sustainability person for Disney. I mean, you have a lot more you could have talked about that, you know, again, you're just way too shy about it. So, but yeah, I bow to your street cred on sustainability and water systems as well.
Thank you.
I'm Bernie Lynch. Been in McCandless since 2013. Prior to that, I was in Mount Washington for 33 years and grew up in Baldwin. So I've kind of done the South, the city, and the North now. I've been on the committee for a couple of years. I was an unexpired term appointee. My interest has always been more in the sustainability realm. I earned a living as a sustainability consultant doing strategic planning, you know, for sustainability about 30 plus years ago. Since that time, I've been working with early stage startups because a lot of sustainability was the invention of things that didn't exist to create more sustainable environments. So a lot of the work I did was with Carnegie Mellon University startups and getting them to scale. The last 5 years, I've been focused on critical mineral recoveries out of waste streams, which nobody knew what that was 5 years ago, and now everybody understands the term critical minerals. So I feel like my day job is still working in the realm of sustainability and, you know, how you can totally beneficiate waste streams. On this committee, I mean, my interest has been really keeping everything in the context of a sustainability framework, which is how do humans, the environment, and economics continue to live together? And how do we make decisions, you know, using that as a balance point? And, you know, my primary focus has been the development of a tree program, but I care deeply about things like light pollution, air quality, and resiliency in kind of the municipality itself, you know, infrastructure systems, kind of a universe of many things. But for now, you know, I'm trying to stay focused on the tree program and how that fits into the context of sustainability. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie. Well, wonderful. Welcome, everybody. So the next portion you can see on your agenda is going to be junior EAC member updates. Anything for us, Nadia?
Yeah, so me and Melissa talked about, because we had the two ideas. One was the polystyrene in schools, but we kind of decided that that would be a bit more bureaucracy, and it would involve reasonable material costs of the school, and they most likely would not go for it.
Mhm.
Just knowing how they do what they do. So we ended up going more for the water quality approach, which is what I was a bit more interested in anyway, but I was worried that there wouldn't be as many like material ways to implement that in like a helpful way. Like I feel like it would be interesting to me, but I don't know how well I would be able to contribute to that. We talked about the what's the name?
Catch basin.
Catch basin. Yep, I had it written down. Catch basin labels.
Something tangible, you can
Yep.
Yes.
relate to this, yes.
And I learned a bit about that. There was some materials that she sent me, and I researched that a bit on my own. And I think that would be a neat way to do that. But I also know that the last member still has all the materials.
I think we got it.
I have them all.
Jeff
Oh,
has it.
all right.
Have
Yeah.
them all. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
so I have them all back. James did, he actually did, I'll give you a quick update. He actually did 100 of them.
Okay.
Him and a couple other students at the end of the year, end of his term. So I have probably material, actual, you might see them on your street, they might not have been placed yet, but you get the decal, we have the glue, the safety glasses, the gloves, and I'm sure Melissa shared with you, which is on our SharePoint site, the video instruction on how to.
We looked at the video instruction. I still have to talk to Matt to learn for myself. 'Cause
Okay.
I haven't learned how this
Right.
program works yet.
Well, So the good news is that, it's winter and they haven't released a 2026 paving list yet.
Okay.
So the 2025 paving list is on the McCandless site, the 2026, and I talked to Brad at the DPW, and it's not been released yet. So we'll look at that. You have some time,
Okay.
but I think that's certainly the right direction. No
Well,
doubt about it.
It's
And then-
decals on the wastewater where
I wish I would have brought mine.
yeah.
And I was also looking into doing some water quality testing in like the public school buildings and also like lake streams, like North Park Lake. Which actually,
On that note, we were actually going to ask Jack, our new
Oh.
council representative, if we can have you help us connect Nadia to somebody who might be able to help with information about any type of water quality testing in McCandless, or even just a tour of water
You'll-
treatment facilities and along those lines.
The old Northern Area Environmental Council, I'd given you the report they did.
yes, that was very neat.
And if you can hook up with those people, they have access to what you need to do and all that.
Okay.
Because they did that. And I think that stuff that I gave you has names on it that you can.
Yeah, it had the name. I'm not sure. I don't remember if it had the emails, but I read through that. It was interesting. And I'll see if
So they just did that in the park. So I thought, the logical progression of that is coming up.
Yeah, I agree. And I was just thinking about it actually, talking about my paddleboarding and my kayaking. I would be happy to go out into the lake, see if there's litter, see if there's any tests that I could do. But I would have to learn a bit more about that.
And we should get you to look at the water quality in Potter Park too,
Yes.
which I don't think anybody really knows anything about. So
And
that
then
would be an interesting one.
Nadia was going to then take all this information and for the
Wonderful.
McCryer article that she's going to do.
And as well, the school
Yeah.
does a lot of video morning announcements thing. It's like every morning they do like a 20-minute thing, and they'll a lot of times have some kind of guest person talk. And I was hopefully going to. I have a friend who's one of the people who produces that, and I was going to see if they would allow me to do that because I'm not too sure the process how they pick what goes on there, but I don't imagine that's too exclusive.
Find out and follow up. That's exciting.
Great. Jenna?
Yeah, so basically my project had a little bit of like a lag over break just because I was on vacation and I wasn't like really talking to Mr. Wall about it. But I know last time we talked, I had that grant request read into the records, so that's been done. For everybody else too, I'm working on getting a sidewalk from the bottom of Saratoga, which connects to Ingomar, like Ingomar right over here,
Yeah.
and then would bring us down to North Park. So it's about a mile stretch of road that would connect that entire area of neighborhoods behind Saratoga, which includes where I live and also where Nadia lives, to North Park and to Devlin here, which would be super helpful in getting all of that neighborhood access by either walking or biking to the park. I got an email from Mr. Walsh shortly after he read it into the record to say that there were going to be some challenges with implementing it exactly as it was written. And then we've kind of been back and forth about that and just trying to figure out, because obviously that is like a more, again, bureaucratic process. So there's some things that I have to like practically go through to get there. But altogether, like it's just kind of a push forward through that. And then also I know you said you're leaving, but I do want to push for the social media still. And I think like being the new year is a good time to kind of get that up and running. So whatever contact is going to be most helpful for that or any situations.
Well, the new assistant manager will be helping out EAC in the future.
Okay.
So she starts next week.
Awesome.
And then just this afternoon, I posted my current job for people to be hired for it. So combination of that, probably Diane in the back as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of start to launch that as the year starts to progress, and hopefully we can get that up and running.
That's great.
Good work.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to project updates. And this is the time that we want to actually bring the new members up to speed and sort of the origin story of these. And Ken, you're up first with Deer Program, Deer Control.
Yeah. There's a couple of handouts that just take one as it goes through and I'll explain what's on them. A large part of our McCandless, when I've lived here for my whole life, all 72 years, so I've seen everything grow up. And the deer, at this point, we have way too many deer, and it's more than being too many deer, the ecological damage that they do. They've wiped out all of our native wildflowers and plants. There's no regeneration of trees and so forth. So what we have done, the one sheet is about what this sheet is about. We have a program where we have archers that hunt on private property. That the landowner has allowed them to be there. They're there to shoot more than one deer. They're not trophy hunting. They're trying to harvest mature does. So you can see over the course of several years how they've been doing on their harvest. The second page with from the McCandless Police Department is basically how we can benchmark how we're doing on reducing the deer population. From wildlife management, when you have too many deer in an area, if you have an area that could support 100 deer and you have 200 deer like we do now, you need to take it down to 50 deer for 5 to 7 years for things to recover. And so once we can get the deer population somewhat under control, we can then get back into our parks and reestablish the native plants and things that the deer eat now, and so they're gone. Partly too, we're trying to establish an enhanced program. Talking with Jack just before the meeting, that's hasn't been fully put through, so I'm not going to discuss it any more than we would like to do more than what we're doing with just the archery program. But as far as like with Bernie's tree program, with trying to get our native wild plants and flowers and pollinators, and at my house with the bird feeder, in the wintertime, like the weather we're going to have, I would have to fill my feeder every day. And now it's every 3 days because the deer have redone the whole landscape to the point that there's fewer birds wintering here. I don't have the cardinals and such. So deer is a really big issue that we need to really get under control. And any of the deer that are harvested by the suburban whitetail management, those are all the meat from that. The venison is contributed to the share of the harvest, which then goes out to all the food banks. So nothing's wasted. That all feeds. There's many thousands of meals that are generated from the deer that we harvest here. It's not wasted. from the police report, you can just imagine, you know, each deer car accident is going to be about $5,000. So you can imagine what the cost is there on just in public safety and so forth with the deer. So does anybody have any questions?
And I am assuming on here, Big Daddy is a vehicle and not a nickname for somebody on the police department?
Daddy is the company.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, okay.
It
It's just me. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
When the deer get hit and they're just laying on the side of the road, one that would attract raccoons and fox and coyotes and everything there. And besides the smelling, disgusting and all that. So the township pays Big Daddy to go out and that report that we have for McCandless on deer, what the Big Daddy is picking up is just on township roads. It does not include McKnight and it does not include Route 19, as those are state roads.
The chief, Chief Hawk also will tell us, how many, will give us a deer report every month when, during town council meetings.
And Ken, if I could add, so, this was something that, the township found to be fundamental in the beginning of 2025. And so there was a push, and Ken was involved in it way before any of us, but there was a push to bring, like sort of an education to the resident, not that you needed to, everybody was on board. And they wanted the EAC to participate and to have an opinion on it. And we were unanimous. The committee was unanimous in our support of expanding the program. And so there were, there was a lot of information. John put out constant, information through the town crier, through McMail, on deer. So it was one of those things where you just keep sort of building it and building the story. And then Ken hosted with
Janine Laflago from the whitetail biologist for the Game Commission. Came and did a presentation. We had, I think there was 47 people there.
we had a room full over here.
Yeah.
And so
And that should be on the website to be able to view that because we videoed that. But she answers a lot of those wildlife biology questions on deer reproduction and so on and so forth that I can answer for you too. But that's all there, and I didn't think I needed to get into that kind of detail.
So at that point, after that, then council did approve the expanded deer call. And so now we're just waiting for it to, sort of be finalized, and hopefully in the next season, that'll be significant.
That is the goal. I did talk to Nick Giorgetti a while back, and he says part of the wait was for approval from Game Commission for various things.
Mhm.
And they run at a snail's pace, unfortunately. But, that is the goal for this year.
Okay, it's a common goal. I'm sorry, Gil.
Oh, no, I just had a question. I don't understand. It said here there was 9 deer taken for 2025.
One is highway report and the other is a hunting report.
Oh, okay, so this is just for highway. Okay, and this is for the hunters.
Correct.
So the hunters took 65 deer this year.
So far,
Okay, where the hunters took 9. So the highway took 9.
and there were 9 taken part with the Game Commission. When it was originally submitted, they actually returned it saying that we gave them too much information. So they had to resubmit it.
Better than too little.
They haven't gotten anything back yet. But what the enhanced program is, one of the requirements for that is we needed to leave the public areas, Wall Park and Potter Park, open to public hunting. And so 9 deer were harvested in Wall and Potter Park this last year by general citizen. To hunt in Wall Park or Potter Park, you needed to stop down at the police, show them your hunting license, your driver's license. They would do a quick search, make sure that you're not something wild, and then allow you to hunt, and you had to report any harvest that you had.
Is that number added in anywhere on here, or is it another 9
It's not, that would be in addition to these.
in addition?
And there's no totals for December and January just because they don't have them yet?
Correct. This was, the November report.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at that right now. I'm slow on the uptake.
Noted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions for Ken? Thank you, Ken.
Just one last comment is that with all the stiltgrass and barberry and everything, those are things that, one, the stiltgrass, I haven't found anything that eats it. You know, whether it's groundhogs, deer, rabbits, I haven't found anything that consumes it. And with the barberry, it's a very important part of the tick life cycle. The larvae like the barberry to hang out in, and any reason you have the barberry is because the deer have wiped out all the other brushy plants that normally would be there. So this also involves tick, which is public health too.
Yeah, and you know, I've said this before, and I think you know, so I mountain bike too, and you know, in Deer Lakes, Boyce, you know, Heartwood, all these other places, you might see 1 or 2 deer. You might see 1 or 2 deer. In North Park, I'll hike and I'll see 40 deer, 50 deer easily. They're just here. For some reason they're here, and it must be the acreage in North Park. But
No, when William Penn came to Pennsylvania, we have 100 times more deer than when William Penn came, because that was climax forest, which isn't deer habitat. Suburbia is prime deer habitat. They have little woodlots to go hide in during the day, and then they have your garden and flowers and shrubs to eat at night. So this is perfect whitetail habitat. That deer population will double every 2 to 3 years. So even though we're harvesting these deer with archery and with cars, our population is still increasing.
I've had conversations with some county council members about potentially, you know, doing something about it in North Park. But they've just been conversations, just throwing ideas.
The county has had a archery program similar. It's called Whitetail Hunters in the county parks. That's been ongoing for over 20 years. Part of the issue we get into is they're hunting in the park, so they cross the road and come over here into McCandless, and the plan up above here won't let anybody archery hunt behind them. So the deer just move away, and so you get issues like that. The North Park is 3,200 acres of North Park is in McCandless. It's a major segment of McCandless, but we don't manage that. That's county. And the longtime director of the county parks retired 18 months ago, and they haven't replaced him with a full-time person yet. So I haven't, there's a Friends of North Park meeting on September 20th, if you're interested, at the cabin, which is on Ingomar Road before you get to the cannon.
January 20th?
January 20th at 7 p.m.
Yep.
But so it's you have Ross, you have Fox Chapel, the city of Pittsburgh have been doing enhanced deer management programs for a while now. But as far as getting the county to do that in the parks, I think would be extremely difficult unless we have a very strong director of the county parks.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. So moving on then to sustainability, I will kick it off with, you know, again, whenever I started in 2023, I started working with John, and we worked to recertify. So McCandless was originally certified a gold standard community in 2019. We actually get the dates here. It was October of 2019, certified gold. That expired in December of 2023. Whenever I came on at the beginning of 2023, John and I worked together. We worked through 181 different questions. We certainly met the percentage needed for gold. We met the number of points needed for gold, but there was one final. So question number 181 was, we needed a community-wide greenhouse gas inventory. So we partnered with Penn State University's cohort program to have that done. And as I sent everybody today, and I apologize, not in Jenna, I did not include you in this, and I should have. We were so the last meeting, the December meeting, the students delivered that inventory to us. They uploaded it to us on Monday, and I uploaded to the system, and we were certified gold today. Yes, that is the culmination of 2 years, 3 years of work for John and I. So, John, I want to applaud you. I want to recognize you for all the work that you've done for the EAC to help us get to the right answers. I was the taskmaster, but John did all the heavy lifting. He really, really did. So I really
Thank you
appreciate
for leading the way.
Good work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was great. So we are a gold certified community. And now, beginning as early as tomorrow, I'm having a meeting and Melissa will join me, if she can, and for a little while on our local climate action plan. Do you want to comment about that?
So these students who helped with the greenhouse gas inventory they have a full year worth of class to do. The greenhouse gas inventory portion was performed in the fall, but during the spring, they helped to develop a climate action plan or another document and strategy or guide to help the community that they're partnering with. And so we'll be working with them to sort of let them know what we're hoping to get for it. We still have to have the discussions. And I know Bernie had expressed interest in joining as well, so we need to make sure that
Okay,
forward that
thank
along.
you. Thank you. You're right.
And then we basically are thinking that it's very important that they look at the different programs that we're a part of. So for example, we are gold sustainability certified right now, but we do want to aim for platinum in the future. So we need to take a look what that entails. We also have another organization, Birdtown USA, that we're a part of, which you'll hear a little bit more about later. So combining the different elements of both of these programs just to incorporate everything into one place so that they can build out this strategy plan for us to follow. And it's going to be pretty exciting. Basically a fun little roadmap that we'll be able to use to help showcase all the great work that we do for the community. Any questions around that? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Bernie, we're going to turn it over to you on the tree canopy.
Thank you. I did copy in my notes to everybody for tonight. I downloaded the 2019 sustainability plan, which is what guided the first, I think it guided the work of this committee. I think that helped form this committee, and I think this committee played a heavy role in that sustainability plan. So it is a PDF that I downloaded and, just I shared it with everybody so you could take a look at, what was done before and how all of the programs of the EAC kind of fit into that plan, today, up to and including the tree program. Because at the time, what was started was a tree planting program. And so, John, are you going to share, or am I going to share, or are you sharing?
I mean, if you'd like to share, it might be easier from your computer since you have it on hand. If you'd rather I do it, let me know.
Here, let me see which one. I have it pulled up. Um, Here, hold on. I wasn't ready to be the one sharing, but hold
I can
on.
share any moment if you'd like.
Here, hold on. Well, it's saying it's not turned on. You can
You can do it now. You can do it now.
All right. But that'll drive you nuts if I say share my screen because you guys are all on it right now. Hold on, let me find the file. Here we go. Okay. Let me kind of play what I'll just play it from the slideshow. So I did a combination of I had a really shorter report for tonight, but because of the new members, I kind of decided to overview a little bit more of this is really as these guys know, every month I do a new slide deck. I update, where we are, just by being able to share this. Um, why is it not letting? There we go. So, presupposition, McCandless is 16.6 according to Wikipedia square miles. 29,709 population as of 2020 with 12,265 households. According to that stat, North Park only consumes 15% of the land mass. In my view, it always looks more than 15%, but I just kind of take a look at this as a sense of measure and assumptions. So the problem statement about the tree canopy is from 2015 to 2020. McCandless lost 226 acres. There, that's 6% of the 4,000 acres that were lost in Allegheny County in that 5 years. And so we're one of the worst. So we made the Allegheny County top 10 worst communities for tree canopy loss. The uh, Tree Canopy Alliance is supposed to do a new map from 2020 to 2025 that should be out soon, and it would tell us what that loss would have been. So right now, that's what we're trying to obtain is the new data for the updated years. But due to that, and a Tree Canopy Alliance was formed, they just in the last year received $8 million in federal funding. Originally to serve just as 40 communities. That language was clawed back from this administration, but they're still trying to serve Allegheny County communities that are more in need than, let's say, McCandless. So part of the question what that I was asking back then is, do we track through our local planning department, tree acreage or loss? And that's part of one of the things that we hope to do. So from this problem statement, we developed a solution statement, which was I wanted to take 5 years and do this tree canopy challenge where we do 50,000 new trees planted and to bring a restored tree canopy, back to McCandless. Tree Pittsburgh, who I had been one of the many organizations I did discovery and research with, encouraged me to extend it over more of a 10-year horizon and to seek to do the 50,000 native trees, shrubs in the township. With the idea being not that this committee is going to go out and get shovels and put 50,000 trees in the ground, but rather we would do this as a action with the residents, businesses, and the governance. So that's kind of where we were. So the plan right now is to launch this year, tied in with the 175th anniversary event, which is in March. And we'll drive that 50,000 tree canopy goal. The primary mission is, in fact, to educate the public and encourage them develop what we call tree champions and kind of do a lot more work in that regard. I would say 2025 was a planning year to get some starter activities. We did do a tree tender training. So we have a, developed group of about 50 folks. We gave away at the tree adoption event 100 trees in October, the same day we did the tree tender 6-hour training. And we will continue to recruit for monthly tree meetings. So Jeff Petro and I met with the McCandless staff. That was really the first time I feel like the full staff attended, absent the township manager. We have a subcommittee. I have two co-chairs, Archie and Julie. Archie attended the Franklin EAC meeting to learn about their Remarkable Tree Program, which is something we propose to do this year as part of the 175th activities. We're going to be filming some tree tips for YouTube videos. Upcoming in March on our speaker series, we have a tree talk with Archie at the library, Northland Library. March 7th, this just happened. There's a group of municipalities in Allegheny County, shade tree programs and other tree programs. On the last meeting in Oakmont, I said I would host it, so I just got confirmation with the library that we're going to host it the afternoon of March 7th. And then just start the regular meetings and then do when I met with the staff last Thursday, it was suggested that part of the 175th anniversary event that we could potentially do 175 trees for adoption. So right now we're trying to work that out with Tree Pittsburgh. It's about a week prior to when they wanted to let trees go. But we're working with them to see if that can happen. It looks pretty good. So this is all part of the year. But if I were to recap last fall, just this is a list of some of the things that we did as a committee. And a lot of the EAC members were heavily involved with the tree tender training, with the adoption event, helping to do the setup. And we have all kind of opportunities upcoming for things that are going to happen this year. So this is kind of a schedule, and I also sent this separately, but that was kind of our schedule of what events we have, what tasks we're doing, things we plan on communicating, and what number of volunteers we're looking for some of these activities. And then some notes where we haven't finalized certain things but wanted to keep them in mind. Really, because it's tree plantings, most of our activities are spring and fall with summer off. But we'll be doing the kind of the messaging and communication throughout the year. So this is just a list of things that, were on our original engagement list. We're actually making progress on them. For example, doing an actual tree inventory of the township was something the new town planning director said he would be interested in working with us to do. That could help provide what I would say the assessment for what would be the possible, best planting to suggest people plant. By being able to know what we have, what do we need, and kind of how we encourage people to do that. So there's kind of a lot more going on. I don't think I need to say what the environmental and human benefits are of planting trees, but they're significant, and I think everybody on this committee understands these things. And then here's just some links for some of the background that kind of got us to this point. Thanks. Any questions, comments?
So Bernie, we'll have to really sort of tighten it up before March and make sure that the communication is out there and that we get people to actually pick up 175 trees. So we'll have to put the press on soon.
Yeah, that's not confirmed yet, but yes, I would agree. And there were windows of time in that communication as to, the window to adopt would only be 2 weeks, but we can pre-promote. And, I see the sequence though as, if we have a library event, the EAC speaker series, doing it jointly with the library already wants to make a poster. They have a graphics person, they'll make the poster for that. We can get that poster, hit the streets with that. And for people, that room can hold 60 people. And I think for, to the extent that we can fill that room with 60 people interested in hearing about trees, that can be a nice group of 60 people who again, we would hope to sign up and communicate with in the future, in addition to the mailing list we already have. So, but I agree. I mean, I think getting the word out to plant trees, the native trees that we're recommending, is an important part of what we hope to achieve.
Thank you. Anything else for Bernie?
Yeah, the new members, I don't know what your opinions are on trees, but if you'd like to get involved, we have a lot of room for even if it's just doing some of the work on some of the project days. I'd love to get you involved, say at the speaker series event on March 5th or, joining any of the other programs in March. April will be launching the Remarkable Tree Program, which I didn't outline here, but it's part of our regular activities we have planned for this year. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Okay, Joanna Raingard.
Sure. All right. Well, in 2010, the first 4 rain gardens were built in collaboration between the town and the Audubon Society. And they're located just on the other side of Devlin Park. So if you know where the parking lot for the Heritage Center is, along the backside of the parking lot, there's a creek, but right before that, there are actual rain gardens that are built into that to help prevent the water from running off the parking lot and immediately flooding the creek. So it's a nice place for all the water to go, and the plan was for it to be taken care of, and the water could go in there, it can soak down. You have the native plants there that can help absorb all the water and prevent some flash flooding events. In 2017, they built a 5th one. It is much larger. So altogether, there are 3,000 square feet of rain garden over on town property. In a single rain event, it can hold a total of 29,750 gallons of water. So annually, that means about 680,000 gallons of water are stopped from running off into Pine Creek and are supposed to be absorbed by our rain gardens. I'm working on making sure it does it as well as it can. So with that, since I stepped onto the EAC, this is a project that was kind of handed down to me because we have a couple things that are out there that have existed for a while. Someone started, it wasn't quite finished, or this is one that needs constant maintenance. It needs constant management. And there were some volunteer events, but they were having a hard time finding volunteers, and parts of it kind of fell more into disrepair. The part by the Heritage Center is a little bit better kept, where the ones like as you get down towards the sidewalk going into Devlin Park, those were not looking so great when I got there. Lots of invasive plants. There are a few things that needed just like the back wall to be fixed and that kind of thing. So since taking it over, I have held a couple different events trying to help repair it, try to get rid of some of the invasive species that are in there. The main one that has been the thorn in my side has been Japanese knotweed. Japanese knotweed is it is tall. It is hard to get rid of. It is the plant that comes up first after a volcano. It does not die easily. It's
Needs a lot.
yeah, it's in the buckwheat family. Technically, you can eat it. It's supposed to taste like rhubarb. It is incredibly difficult to kill. Incredibly
It
difficult.
doesn't have a root system, it has rhizoids,
Mhm. Yes, and all you need is
little chocolate.
7 millimeters of one of the rhizoids for it to just sprout right back. So some people have the idea, well, if you just continue to cut it and cut it and cut it, it's going to run out of energy. But I wanted to believe that, and I read a bunch of scientific articles on it, and I'm like, nope, that's not true. Unfortunately, we had to use herbicide on it, so we did have a chopping event. That was the first thing. So we went out there and just chopped a bunch of it down. That's the first thing you have to do, because you have to, wait for it to get to a certain height and then chop it back. So it has to come back and spend a lot of energy. And then come about 6 to 8 weeks later, you go out and you spray it. And that should take care of about 90% of it. There are other invasive species in there. I am well aware of that. That was the number one priority of the one to start eliminating, because that's something you don't want on your property. I don't want it spreading around McCandless. And it is already, there's plenty of places around McCandless it's already spreading. Fun fact about it, if you get Japanese knotweed on your property in the UK, you cannot sell that property. Like, you're unable to get a mortgage.
Oh.
So it is that terrible.
Part of the problem we get in McCandless is that the knotweed, part of it will be on a right of way that McCandless can maintain and mow and spray. But then the other part's on private property. And so we can't really come up with it. If that landowner doesn't want to do a management program with it, it's just propagates.
Right. So, and it also, those rhizomes, it is capable of cracking concrete.
We had
So-
bamboo.
Yeah, it has a similar pattern to bamboo. It is.
a 10-year fight, and it's coming back.
Yeah, it's not fun. But it got me thinking along those lines. So part of the plan eventually, as we knock things down and we get things beautified, and we will continue to have to do maintenance. There's going to have to be continued spreading of mulch in the spring. I'm going to continue to seed the area with native plants as much as possible. And eventually I would like to be able to have this, so this isn't something where it's like one person with a shovel from the EAC out there doing it. But I think it's a great place for education. I think it's a great place for the town to showcase native plants and different management capabilities of natural things for taking care of water on your property, because there's a lot of people who have water issues, and I think more ring gardens could be used, but we have to showcase it and not just have it look like a weed pit.
There's a number of water gardens in North Park. And the master gardeners, for the most part, try to take care of them, although most of them are getting fairly overrun also.
So that is kind of where I am with that. As far as what's next for it, planning that next work day, and then collaborating with others on, okay, so if I'm doing this work, say with Japanese knotweed, where can that knowledge that I've gained from that be useful elsewhere in the town, and that kind of thing. Yeah, and come springtime, I'm happy to take people out there for tours. Right now, it just looks like muddy pits in the ground, so not as exciting, but it eventually is filled with really cool flowers and trees, and has a lot of really cool biodiversity, and lots of pollinators like to use it, and it's really interesting, and I love that the town has it, and I want to help promote it however I can.
We had one tree of heaven that grew in there, and that's where one of the prime attractors of lanternflies. So I took care of that.
That was before I was on. I think it was just like as I was
Just as you were
transitioning.
coming on.
Any other questions for Joanna? Okay, moving on to community outreach. So we just, every year we go through the cycle of, and Ken and I, well, other people have as well, the Garden in a Park down in North Park, and then we go into Community Day, and then we go into National Night Out first, then Community Day, and then Winterfest. So we just finished up that cycle. So nothing on the horizon. However, whenever I first started, there used to be an EAC, a regional EAC meet and greet. So it would be Hampton, Franklin Park, Ross, McCandless, and Pine. And so we would get together, say at Hampton's community center, community park, and we talk about projects that we're all working on or initiatives for the new year. And that was very, very helpful. And we learned a lot from that. And so it really hasn't gone on for 2 years, I think now.
2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years. So I decided I was going to try to reboot that. So with that, I've had confirmation from Pine, who's been all in, Ross, Franklin Park. I actually talked to Hampton, who had their EAC meeting this past Monday, who said they'd get a hold of me Tuesday morning and let me know, and I've heard nothing. So I'm going to table that for right now and come back and wait for Hampton, but then come back on the next meeting, and I have it on topics for next meeting to actually put together a date for that. And we'll have, the first one will be right here in Devlin Park. It'll be in April or something like that, where, it's acceptable to be outside, and we'll have some cookies and, soft drinks and things like that, and we'll share ideas.
It's a great way to network, and something that somebody else has already figured out how to do. We don't have to recreate the wheel. They know of grants that are available for like trails and so forth. So it's a really good networking event that everybody gets a little bit out of.
Yep. So we'll work on that. That'll keep moving this thing along. So we do have a speaker series every year, and we try to put on at least 2, maybe 3 speakers. And it's going to be, tree centric this year. We saw that Bernie has, March 5th. We're going to have a tree tenders class again on October 17th. And we talked about maybe having somebody come in and talk about bees or pollinators. So we're going to do that this year, hopefully. And then the other one is, and this will just sort of fold right down into open initiatives. We are now the 96th Pennsylvania municipality who has been accepted as a PA bird town. And so we'll have a bird town, then Audubon, Western Pennsylvania Audubon speaker come in and talk about bird town PA. So that would be on our agenda as well. So then moving down into open initiatives, I, Melissa, and Ken attended a bird town orientation on January 7th from the Audubon Society, where they accepted us as a green certificated bird town community. And we will be officially presented as a bird town community on February 9th, the council meeting on February 9th. Everybody is invited to that. There'll be the trib will be there. There'll be a plaque that's, or, something given to us, and we'll all stand there and get our picture taken, and it'll be in the trib, the local trib, sort of, talking about that achievement. And, that'll be something that McCandless will, it'll be a moment that we shine, and the EAC will shine as well. So that was a lot of work to get there, but we got there. Anything to add to that, Melissa?
So part of being the bird town municipality means an annual report. They're changing the way that it works. So if you go to their website right now, it will show an outdated report mechanism, but moving forward, they're going to be focusing more on storytelling components. So we already do a lot of really great work here, and we'll be able to take everything that we do and tie it all together for that end of year report that will help us build up within their system and become gold or platinum. I forget their exact levels, but you cannot step up from green until 1 year of being a bird town, but we're already on their next tier technically.
Good work.
Yeah, thank you. And there's going to be some signs. So there'll be, one of those signs that says Audubon Society recognizes McCandless as a bird town. We have these signs that'll go in Potter Park or on Brant Trail or something like that. So, we'll get those signs. So the EAC have given the council an annual report every year of, our current status of the project and then the new initiatives for the next year. I'm hoping that this is the new report. So once we do this, I'm thinking that just, this will be something that we'll just present to council as opposed to me sitting there and, fumbling around in some document that I'm messing up.
And with Latotomy, we've got a lot of people that are very active with all this to help us.
Right.
Latotomy is part of North Park.
And one other note from Bird Town, they do send out various information like newsletters. They did ask us to check with those of you on this committee to see if anybody else wants to be added to the distribution list. So if so, just let Jeff or myself know.
You can
pass along.
You can add me.
Okay.
I'd
You
like,
can put my council email address on there.
Mhm.
I'd like to be added as well.
Great.
Yeah, add me.
I'm already on it.
Mhm.
Jack, Audrey, Ken, Bernie, anyone else?
Am I not on? I might be.
It's new. This is
Okay,
brand new.
I'll take it.
Yep.
Yep.
Joanna. Okay.
Okay.
Can I, Jeff, before you move on,
Yeah.
the Birdtown, in addition to your EAC networking, that March 7th event that McCandless EAC tree program is hosting for all the other municipality tree programs,
Mhm.
many of them are already bird towns. The woman who kind of is helping to guide me in setting this up, she runs the bird town for Forest Hills. So I keep, we're running into all these other programs with the other
Yeah.
municipalities. So, I don't know what that means other than, back to don't invent the wheel and, lessons learned. So I said to Pat, I have a feeling Jeff would love to talk to you about that. So if you're interested, probably she and a few others that are existing bird towns,
Mhm.
if you feel the need to crosstalk with some of them, I'm happy to introduce you to some of the ones I'm finding on the tree side.
And I'll be there on March 7th, so that I plan on being there to
Yeah.
meet them. So that's
Good.
great.
You can meet Pat is her name, but yeah, we won't necessarily be talking Bird Town, but yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Wonderful. Thank you, Bernie. Um, and so, the next topic is EAC dedicated webpage. And John, I'm going to lean on you a little bit more, and I know, and certainly on Katie when she starts. But, Pine has, because they're a bird town community, and on their EAC page, they have sort of a second page that talks about their bird town accomplishments. And I envision us to have some more landscape, some more space on the municipal site that would be EAC related, that will talk about our tree program, talk about bird town achievements, talk about other things that we're working on, sustainability. Does that cost a lot of money? What is the reality of that?
So the reality is, if it's part of the townofmccandless.org, domain, we can just do anything we want. We can add on as many pages, subpages we want to the existing site. As far as what we want to do with the current EAC site, it already has a little bit more than most of the other committees because of the public nature of what it does. So if we want to sort of revamp that, decide maybe change what's on there, we can do that pretty easily. Whoever has access to the webpage can do that.
Okay. Okay, so why don't we put on the topics for next month that we're going to further this with Katie, our new liaison from the staff, and then just really start to get her early.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, good. Everybody agree that that's a good idea? We should move forward on that?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, next one is the achievement announcement. So our bird town status, we know that's going to be covered on February 9th meeting. The trip will be there. Sustainability was just announced. John Schwinn, the township manager, doesn't want to do them both at the same time. Let's maximize our exposure. So I would guess that the gold standard sustainability will be a March, another achievement announced for McCandless and EAC in March. So we're going to split those two, and those two things are going to be publicized. Okay. The next one is something that I came up with, in one of those, when I'm walking around North Park talking to trees. Liaison discussion. So I thought about, Bernie talking to Tree Pittsburgh and Ken with the white tail. Joanna, I'm just throwing this out, but I just had this idea of, instead of everybody sort of saying, well, this is going on, that maybe we could take responsibility for interfacing with certain, people that connect with us in the community, and then somebody could just report that to the group. Not that there was a mixer going on at, Northern Tier Brewer or something like that, but hey, North Park or Allegheny County stewards just planted 459 trees in North Park. That would be of interest to all of us. Latotomy is holding an invasive species class, or they're holding a day of removal of invasive species. Okay, this is of interest to everybody. The library's doing this, or Penn State Extension's doing this. PA Sustainability is doing this. And so I just want to throw this out to the group and think about, is that an idea for this group? Is that something we should think about, to have individual members be liaison and be responsible for bringing information that is, important to the full group?
I would think rather than assigning people to set things, maybe we just have an open item every month where if somebody has information like that to share, they can share it with the group.
Just like I was sharing
Yeah,
at Friends of North
exactly.
Park meetings, on the 20th at the cabin.
Yeah,
Okay.
rather than specifically assigning people.
Okay, so then should we throw on,
It could go under miscellaneous. On the-
yeah, miscellaneous, and we'll just say,
Just call it liaison
information to
updates.
share, that type of
Okay,
thing?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Like a regional activity update, like, but yeah, we all stumble across different things
Yeah.
as we go into our own areas. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'd have lots more like native plant type things, but
Mhm.
everybody has access to different information.
Okay. Okay, next up is in miscellaneous, the February McMail tip. And Bernie, you will and this has worked out really, really well, but you'll add your your February tip,
Yeah.
and then we will add on to that.
Yeah, I mean, we always have and thank you for, I saw that was on my list when I was updating today, the wish list of being able to do a tree tip every month. So yeah, Archie, he already has these pre-written. So John, I told him today that we need to get them to you the latest Wednesday of next week. Does that work?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll try and get it even by Friday, because I know he has them. All right.
Okay, and what do we do in, any thoughts for?
Historically, we've had for February, water, sustainability topics, home and garden tips, waste and waste. Jenna did last month. Does anybody want to volunteer for February in particular? Any topics of passion? Or I don't know if we need to stick with any of those for February.
Yeah.
They don't seem that
So-
February-ish.
In the theme of, okay, so let's think about this a little bit different.
Really quick, is everybody here aware of what a McMail tip is?
No.
Okay, well, I would, first of all, I would urge you to sign up for McMail. So go under the municipal, we actually had a volunteer come in through the website and said, hey, I want to volunteer on EAC activities. And so I sent her and I said, well, the first thing to do is to sign up for McMail. So it's on a website and it will say, sign up here. And it will be, and I think it's almost mandatory if you're on here, because you're going to want to see what other people are writing, and we get real estate every month on this thing. So, maybe we could think a little bit outside of the box this month, and maybe we can start to I don't know, should we start to promote the roadside cleanup? Should we talk about,
I would hold till March for that.
okay,
People don't remember 2 months.
yeah, okay, the bird town, sustainability.
Traditionally, I think this is when we would talk about people pruning their apple trees and things like that in dormancy. When you want to prune your oak trees.
Yeah, and we could, honestly, that was supposed to be this past month, and I think that Archie opted to do, was it the protecting your your trees from wildlife. But I think that was up on the agenda. I mean, if you want, we could do more and just make it, a little bit more in length on, what you could be doing with your trees in the winter.
That sounds great.
It's when you should be pruning your apple trees. It's when you should be pruning your oak trees. I mean, it's pertinent, and people need to be aware of that.
That's
Yeah.
great, Bernie. It's all you.
Yeah, and I mean, our McMail tips, general pruning tips were last month. Dormant tree pruning is actually this month. And then tree planting guide and selection is next month, mulching the month after. So yeah, we kind of have them scheduled by season. So I think if we can just have all 300 words, that'd be
Yeah.
great. All
That
right,
works.
thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, next up is the 175th, McCandless 175th. I did send the minutes from the last meeting and the goals for the next meeting, and I think where it relates to EAC is the tree, the what do we call it, Bernie? Uh,
A remarkable tree program.
yeah, the Remarkable Tree Program is where we fit into that. So that continues on. So moving on from that. Um, Air quality monitor. We were sort of kicking that around. John, do you know where that stands? Did we buy it? Do we?
The air quality monitor is on my desk. I'm leaving it for the next person. We have so.
Okay, it needs to be installed.
Yeah.
Okay, and how
It's ready.
is DPW do that?
I am not sure, honestly. They could. It probably would be easier for someone here to do it as well, but I'm gonna, again, let the next person figure out what they want to do with it. It'd
Okay,
be pretty easy install at the end of the day.
okay. So you will pass it on to, will you pass it on to Diane?
Diane or John, probably,
Okay.
because I know John had one at his last municipality, so.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you'd follow through on that one, and then we'll get that, I know that that's, that is certainly something that Bernie speaks about, and it's, it is important, and we want to make sure that we supported that purchase. The municipality came through with that purchase, and we want to make sure that we do this for the residents.
And
Is there like a location where we're planning on putting this?
give
It probably would be somewhere out.
an overview to anyone.
So it would be in the
Okay, good.
township building
I believe it would be right outside
Okay,
for basically local air quality
Okay.
outside.
Since we have new individuals here, if Bernie, if you could just give like a quick 1 to 2 minute overview of what this is and why.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, John, is it is it related to the purple air?
It's the purple air. It's the purple air monitor.
Yeah. So if you went on to a website called Purple Air, um, it's kind of citizen science. It's folks just, put these monitors up and you can see, what the air quality is all around the world. So I was stating that, I mean, my home is currently the only one in McCandless, and I thought it would be great if the township kind of sponsored a monitor right at the town hall. So, so apparently you got one. It's not difficult to install. I don't know. I think it's more about a location. Like it doesn't have to adhere to a building, but if you've got a place that you can lay it. I mean, I'd be happy to help determine where, but it does have to have access to Wi-Fi and so that it can work. But that's what it is it's a air monitor and
What does it monitor? What does it monitor?
parts per million, of small cell particles. I'm getting it wrong. The PM2, it's like an EPA. It's the sensor picks up um essentially, small particle in the air, and then you can down select, how you want that reported based on whose parameter, like the EPA's or some other global standards. So there's a drop down of about 10 different ways that measurement can be made in terms of whose rating system, is it that your sensor system is falling onto. But, I mean, mostly our air quality is good, but we have a good number of bad quality days. So I just think it's a great service for the community to say, if you want to know what your air is outdoor, go there. I wanted to see maybe some indoor monitors put in but I'm guessing, John, you didn't get indoor monitors, right?
As far as I know, it's just outdoor for now.
Yeah. All right. That works. Thank you.
If you go back 25 years ago, there were only 3 monitoring stations in Allegheny County. They were by the old coal power plant in New Kensington by the Clariton Coal Works and where the buses idle down at the point. When I brought up, are you trying to have bad air? The basic long and short of it is if we had bad air, we got access to more federal funds. And so
Strategic place.
it was 25 years ago, and I'll just leave all that.
Toss that monitor on top of the old steel mill.
Okay, next is the report from town council. Jack?
Alrighty, so one of the things that I wanted to mention is that, sorry, I'm just pulling it up. A couple days ago, I received an email from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. One of their grants is opening for the Community Conservation Partnerships Program. And I already told John, I also told Councilman Babich, because grants is kind of our thing. One of the things, we're going to apply for it, but we want ideas for what we want to do with this. We're all ears, so you
What
can.
is it specifically for?
So specifically, it's the grant can cover the following programs: community parks and recreation, land conservation stewardship, trails, rivers, communities, wasteland, and watershed forestry.
I'm going to jump in and talk about trails. That's something that we've been trying to do is to connect, Wall Park to Potter Park to Vestal Park, and then when you get into the old Harmony line, a lot of that's privately held, and we have some issues getting access through certain areas. But trying to make connectivity all the way into North Park and to the other parks. Also looking at going from Wall Park into Franklin Park into their park system. And in Wall Park, we need to do much more there. The issue gets into there is the wetlands with the creek and bridges. So I can get people from Rachel Carson Trail and things to lay things out. And then we can get volunteers to build it, but there's costs, particularly with the bridges in Wall Park, and you need to get the township engineer involved in all of that. That's something I've been working on for a long time, and every time I get to a certain point, it seems to go into a black hole. So if you can get grant money to support that and get council to support building those trails, I can get it done.
Okay. Currently, this is very preliminary. It seems there are interests in seeing what we could do with this money for Potter Park, but it is just preliminary. I'm not saying that it's.
We have the new Potter Park had a 17-acre addition to it just last year.
So that's currently what, but this is very preliminary. We're talking about it. We're looking into it. The deadline for the application is April 30th. So we got plenty of time, but I still want to get this in way before the deadline.
I'll put it for open initiatives to discuss as a group next time.
Thank you.
Everyone has time to think.
Hey, Bernie, is this the same one that the email that we got that Abby came back or somebody came back and talked about? Was it?
Yes, this is the one that for 3 years I have said I wanted to go after for tree programs and have not been able to get the township's attention. So in this case, yes, in the meeting we had last week, I said that I wanted to be able to, make the request for grants. And I've been following the DCNR grant. Again, this is my 3rd year. And yeah, Abby said they already have plans for it. So she told me, kind of no room at the inn again, 3rd year in a row. So I'm not saying Abby turned me down for 3 years. I'm saying I have not been able to get the time and attention of McCandless Township for 3 years to want to submit something related to, supporting the tree program.
Me and Nathan, Councilman Babich are very interested in this grant. So, and he and I are very interested in pursuing it. I'll throw it around for the other council members. John and Abby also seem very interested in it. John S. Seems especially interested in it. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah, I mean, we qualify for this. The one that we would qualify for out of DCNR, well, we actually aren't permitted to do Tree Vitalize separately. That's now kind of a joint grant by the county, but I do think there's very few things that, the tree program can qualify for. And this one, is one of the ones I've had my eye on each year.
Okay. And anything else, Jack?
That's about it. This was actually a development after the meeting. It was actually an email I got, and after verifying it was legitimate, that I figured it's of interest, so I sent it to relevant people.
Okay. And I believe you can verify that Katie, now, how do you say Katie's last name? Could be the new township assistant manager?
I forget.
I
John.
think it's stringent or something.
Stringent, I have
Along those
stringent.
lines.
She is going to be our.
That's what I've been told, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that Diane Romanek
Mhm.
asked that we provide her. She said that people are always interested in things that come out of this meeting within staff, and she wants to just send out like little cliff notes or something like that. So I'm going to ask Katie to actually do that, so she can follow up and say, oh, these are the 5 takeaways from the meeting, or and sort of give those to Diane. So that'll be something we start with Katie. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, topics for next EAC meeting. I'll start with the first one, and I didn't have it on here, but it is certainly the April 25th cleanup. That will be added to the project list. And it will be, it will grow and grow and grow. It'll be a real focus of ours up until that point, because what we're going to do is we're going to put 150 people out on the streets. There's a lot of coordination with that, so we'll look for every member to have input on that, support that. We'll look for council in full to support that. I know you were there last year, Jack. You're right there on the website. You're right in front. Joanne in her crazy outfit.
You know my stance on the cleanup.
Yeah,
Judging by that
absolutely.
picture, so you
Appreciate
don't have to worry about me.
Yeah, so we'll ask everybody to be involved in that. We'll ask for municipal staff to be heavily involved in that, which I believe they will, and we'll make that one of our priorities at the next meeting, to have that conversation that is fulsome, so everybody understands everything that's involved in that. So I will add that
Hey,
to
Jeff.
the topics.
When's the date for it again?
April 25th.
Okay, thank you.
I've already contacted Chief Hawk, so I have 5 police overtime details. DPW building will confirm that, but I've already talked to Brad, and we've secured the building, and so we'll just keep moving forward. And then I have a meeting the morning after our next meeting, so February 13th at 8:30. I have a meeting with Diane, Katie, Abby, and anybody else that can join, that will sort of move this thing forward within the borough.
Okay, let me know if you need anything.
Okay, appreciate that. Also, for next meeting will be the March McMail tip. Hopefully we will have a list of street pavings for 2026. So we'll bring in the catch basins, we'll discuss the catch basins, we'll further that conversation. I hope to have a regional EAC date. And then I have here local EPCAP, climate action plan topics, and hopefully we'll have something to talk about there. Anything else?
That'd be fun, dear.
Final deer, okay. Any other thoughts for topics? Certainly not held to them right now, but.
Hey, Jeff, could we do a master calendar? Now that we've got folks doing lots of stuff in many directions, could somebody create kind of a master list
I like
of,
that idea.
yeah, and that way, we could just even update that.
I was thinking of just adding that onto our agenda, like as a attachment, because it is starting to get quite confusing. There's so many things, but it's all talked about in different places. So we could just compile it all there as a starting point.
Where is there?
Just on the agenda, if we just add to it at the bottom of the page.
The whole year events or
Well, we could set up an actual calendar too. I guess we still
either way.
that EAC email address account. Is there like a shared calendar that we use through that?
You can figure that out.
Okay.
Because there is like the shared box. It's really just for people to say, hey, EAC, because I remember that. We can try to figure something out, I'm sure.
Yeah, we can add that for next month.
We
Yeah,
may
and
put
can
that on
I-
our dedicated page.
Mhm.
And yeah, can I just make a suggestion on the note of the agenda? Could there be a link always to the SharePoint site in addition to the volunteer sign up site so that those links are always in front of us every month? Would that be achievable?
Yeah, that's easy to add.
Is it, Melissa?
Yeah.
Because it's not for me, so I. hope
I
it's for
can,
you.
I can put it on the online version. Yeah.
Very good.
I'll
Thank you.
I'll get that added there for you.
Okay. Any other topics for the next meeting? At 9:00. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Very good.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Fastest
Jonathan,